it's MK, and I am here for another Mixed Media Mayhem layout for you guys today. I am also mixing this up with Woodgrain and Winter, another series that Janet, Fritz, and I have started about all of the winter photos that we have, and I have decided to mix it up with my Christmas papers, even though it's not exactly Christmas Day related. It's still seasonal, related. So, for my list of recipes, I've got stamping. So these are the stamps that I'm going to be using. A super uber old stamp set from close to my heart. One of my favorites. For the borders, I decided to pull out this, for me, it's quite old, border punch system from Creative Memories. And truth be told, where I have this located in my room, it's kind of a forgotten gem, but they had a sale over Black Friday, and so I purchased those 2 extra cartridges and ended up remembering that I just got these and it was perfect time for Mixed Media Mayhem. I also pulled out all of my elements, all of my bits and pieces, chipboard, die cuts, all that stuff, so that way I could play with the packaging. I know. I also pulled out several die cuts and chipboard pieces to play with, but truth be told, not a lot of it goes on, and I end up changing my mind. So for the borders, I also picked out this branding strip from the gingham, but I'm not sure if I want to map my photos just yet. So I'm going to try and audition all of my photos on the paper. Now this green really makes that blue pop from my photos, but I really just pulled it out for the branding strip, to be honest. It's kind of a staple for me to map my photos before I continue working with my layout. And so I feel like this is something that I have to do. And lately, I have been enjoying not doing it. So, like I said, I love how they pop on this red paper as well. So it's a toss-up between that green paper and the red paper. So for my polka dots, I picked out this wood grain that actually had snow already printed on it. It is from Kaiser Craft. Winter Wishes is what the collection is called. And it is a quite old collection, you guys. I've had it in my stash for a very, very long time. That was a little cheat sheet for what my recipe is. If I don't write down my mixed media recipe, I always forget at least one thing. So I do have to have it wrote down in order to make sure that I have all the ingredients to make the mixed media recipe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my wood grain background. Again, it came pre-printed with the quote-unquote polka dots of snow, and then I am going to trim my photos down as close as possible. So every year on New Year's, it is a tradition. If there is snow, let me change that. If there is snow on the ground, it is a tradition to go to the Spring Creek Golf Course and slide down the hill that is right there at hole 1. So, and it's really cool too because the golf course actually encourages this. So they put a net down, they put all the precautions down so we don't tear up their grass. So it's really, really cool that they don't mind that we all come out and do this. People snowboard down it. There's lots and lots of kids. We are not the only ones on this hill, as you can see at the bottom. Well, it's really cool because everybody likes to get on the board and then kind of race down the hill. As you can see in one of the photos, one of my sons, because he's using his hands to try to get him to go faster, well, it's not guaranteed to always push equally and evenly with both hands, and so he ends up getting himself spun around, and now he's going down backwards. As you can also see in some of the photos, there are trees at the bottom, and again, the golf course prepares for that, so they have bumpers all around the tree trunks. So if you do accidentally hit one, which we have not, thank goodness, if you do accidentally hit one, then, it's got a little bit of protection around the tree. I think that's kind of cool. So I forgot. I forgot how this system works. And so I'm reteaching myself. I know that the paper goes inside this little tray thing, or not tray, but this little holder. And then I know the punch follows along inside these little grooves. And there's little like teeth that the punch puts into. But I forgot what that blue thing was for. And so I had to retrain myself on how to use it. And then, of course, it came back really fast and I was able to get it done. And I used 3 different punches. One of them was a notebook punch. The other one was this tree punch. And then the last one was the candy striped punch. I used the packaging for all of it except for the green one. The green one really wasn't in the packaging. So I just used one of those base pages that either came in the ephemera bit or part of the cluster kit. It came from somewhere, you guys, but it was part of one of the embellishment packages. So once I got all my borders done, or at least the borders that I wanted to use, I still have no clue how I'm going to stamp on my layout. I have no clue how I'm going to decorate my layout. I mean, I just don't have a clue what I'm doing yet. So I did decide to take some hickory smoke and go ahead and stamp on my layout. Now, when I first did, I thought, well, there's no ink. There's nothing happening here. I even stamped it with on a scrap piece of paper to see if my ink was dry. And it kind of is, but it really isn't. It's just the fact that it matches with the paper so well that I have to stamp it in the lighter sections of the paper in order for it to show up. So at first I didn't think the camera was going to pick it up, but I'm quite shocked at how well the camera is picking it up. Now, all of Close to My Heart stamps come with this foam package, foam packaging and whatnot. And most of my customers, when they order from me from Close to My Heart, they instantly throw it away. They repackage the stamps because of the envelopes that Close to My Heart used to have were really bulky and big and not as efficient as far as storage goes, right? Because they took up a lot of space. Since then, Close to My Heart's worked on it. They've done a lot better, but most people instantly get rid of that foam because it's very thick. You know, it takes up space in your storage system. Well, the foam is to help you stamp. It's a padding for these clear stamps because the clear stamps don't have as much give as the red rubber stamps have. And so they need a little bit of help, and where you get that help is on the other side of your project. So you're supposed to put the little foam piece underneath your project and then stamp down, especially on these larger stamps. As you can see, I had to stamp one of them twice, but the best part about Close to My Heart's see-through stamps, which I guess any see-through stamp, is that I can see through it, and I was able to double stamp it without a misty or anything like that. Just because I was able to see through it. So it was a little too dark for me. So what I'm trying to do is lighten up a little bit and not make it so boxy. And I'm just taking water and I'm re-wetting the ink on, because I just used regular Distress Oxide. So I'm re-wetting that ink, trying to get a little bit of that greenery that's in the base of the ink, and softening the lines for my boxed images. I didn't really like that. Plus, it was really dark. Per my sample piece, it was a little bit on the gray side, and that's why I chose it. But when I stamped it, it was very, very black. So I'm just trying to lighten it up a little bit in certain spots. And then I do like the addition of the green because I'm going to be bringing in green embellishments and whatnot. So I do like how it ends up looking. I love the faded gray in the background. I just wish I had a third gray to play with and get the different, get the tricolor of fading that I would have liked to see. So in order for me to get that tricolor of fading, I decided that I was going to take this snowflake stamp, which is one of my favorites out of the stamp set, and double stamp it. So I'm stamping off the black on my scrap little piece of paper and then stamping it back on, because I really do like how I have a light, a medium, and a dark stamping on my layout. Now, most of it gets covered up because I do have 4 photos. They were originally 6x4, but I trimmed them all down so I could make a cute little quadrant of photos. Now, originally I was going to, since I didn't find a matted photo mat that I really liked, I was going to take all of these yellow gold tickets and create a photo mat throughout my entire pictures, right? Around my pictures, like my pictures were laying on top of this super cool photo mat. And the more that I kept putting the tickets on, now I really do like it. I'm not going to lie. I really do like how this looks. I picked up my last piece and then realized, well, what am I going to do with all these borders? I forgot that I had all these borders that are supposed to go on my layout, and they are quite bright and not as, I don't know, I don't want to use the word dull as the yellow, but they aren't as bright, and they don't really go with the yellow cardstock embellishments that I picked out. So I'm going to go ahead and take my edge distresser and distress some of the edges. I've already distressed all the edges of my branding strips, and I distressed the edges of my photos instead of using a photo mat. That way I can see a white border around it, but I didn't have to use any white cardstock. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to make a top and a bottom photo mat using these borders at the top and the bottom of my photos. So I'm just going to separate them. I have a green piece down at the bottom. I have a candy stripe down. I have a green up at the top and the bottom, a black up at the top and the bottom, a candy stripe, and then, of course, a neutral. And so I really, really did like that, and went ahead off camera and glued them down because, you know, I already had them set up. I didn't think you needed to watch me actually now glue them back down. I just think it's a very repetitive step in the process, and so I skipped it. Now I'm working on the bottom step. I did bring in that ticket that just, it's like a transit ticket because of course, you know, we are on some sort of transportation. Now I'm not going to lie, this hill is really big. It is so fun going down, but coming back up is very challenging, especially after everyone has gone sledding down the hill. Now it's just nothing but a big old huge ice skate. And along the side, there are several bushes. And so, of course, that's where everybody walks up, coming up. And so it's kind of created a little bit of stairwell for you guys. But about 2 or 3 trips up the hill, you're done for the day. It's a very fast sledding process. But we do love it. In all honesty, I just love sitting in the snow and taking the pictures. It is just so much fun and enjoying. So the last thing that I did, I replaced the tickets and everything with these circular snowflakes because I felt like I needed to add a little bit more color here and there around my layout. So I just felt like a little bit over here was missing something and a little bit over there was missing something. And these snowflakes were absolutely perfect because they do match the stamp image that I was using. So I didn't realize that at the time, but now that it's, my layout's almost put together, I do like how that looks with the circular elements. Also, too, because of how large everything was, I did end up covering up most of my stamping, but I'm okay with that because I still have little skis poking out of one cluster. I have a sled and the skis and the word winter poking out of another cluster. I just really like how it all came together in the end because it looks intentional, even though I had no clue where I was going with all of that. All right, you guys, I did take a lot of close-ups just so you could get a feel for the stamping because I felt like it was lost, and it was most of the video, in all honesty. Don't forget to check out the 2 links that I have down below. One is for the Mixed Media Mayhem Facebook group, and the other one is the direct link in case you are already a member of the Facebook group. It's the direct link to the album, so you can go and see everybody else use this recipe and how different everybody's take is just using the same 3 elements, and you're going to get totally different layouts. I absolutely love that, and my favorite part is looking for the elements on the layout. Where did they use their polka dots? What borders did they use? Things like that. It is just so super cool. Also, too, down below, I have a playlist for everyone that is playing along with Woodgrain and Winter. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.